What's up, YouTube? Logan Johnson here, and I just finished top 32 at YCS Anaheim, playing pure yummy again with some spice in the side deck, and yeah, I finished 11-3 overall. And let's get right into the deck profile. So triple Cup C, obviously, triple Marshmallow. This card was ridiculous. This is a little interesting. I did 2 Cookie and 3 Lolly. Normally you would think Cookie is a better normal summon, but Lolly is actually better into boards right now, because if you can bait out the Murakumo, or if they end with like Futsu on their board with Murakumo, or if they end with like Dynamundo with Murakumo in their grave, this is really good to hit that. So it's just a slightly better summon and a better interruption generally. Other engine, Obedience School, God card, Prosperity. You can finish 6 with this card a lot. I know people were saying like, how is it possible to do 6, but I did 6 with this card a lot and it never backfired. You just keep all your yummy stuff and then keep like 2 utility cards, you're fine. 3 Engage and Drones, obviously. Minion and a Croaky. This is still the best card in the deck. I don't care what people say. 1 Surprise. You don't need 2 now with Marshmallow. For the non-engine, the good non-engine I played was triple Fua, triple Ash, triple Bell, triple Purge, and Called By. These were like the god cards. Pretty much any deck we were testing this format included these 13 cards right here. They're all very good against Dracotail. They're all very good against Yummy. They're all very good against Mitsu. Also, they're pretty much all good going first or second. And then the rest of the deck, there was like 7 slots where it was like kind of sketchy what to play. The non-engine we chose was 2 Thrust and a Talents. Thrust is a little bit underwhelming in the main deck, but it really helped with our side patterns. It was a card we wanted to side regardless, and it was like good enough to main deck when we didn't really feel like there's any other good non-engine to play, and then obviously Talents is for the Thrust. Other non-engine, we played just 2 Imperm. We didn't think this card was that great. However, at this event, I kind of wish I had 3 because I played against like a lot of Malice decks and a lot of K9 decks where this card would have really shined, as well as Lunalight. So in the future, maybe I would bump this back up to 3. But generally against the Yummy deck and against Mitsurugi, this card's not very strong. Instead, we opted for 2 Droplet. This card has a lot of purposes. It's very good going second. As you can see, all of our non-engine is good going first or second pretty much. You can draw any of these as your 6 card. You can, oftentimes hold 2 or 3 of them for your own turn. You can break boards. You can try to stop boards. And Droplet is just a really great board breaker to pair with that. Another purpose it served was an out to Mud Dragon, and also against Mitsu, you can try to like dodge prayers with this. You can like send a spell to negate their Murakumo. You can send spell and monster, negate like Mud Dragon and Murakumo if you get super qualified. So that was the main. It was really solid. For the extra deck, 3 Snatchy, 1 of each Synchro. There's actually a lot of consideration to playing 2 Cupsy. It comes up a lot against like Mitsurugi and stuff where you have 1 in your grave and you actually need to like, it's pretty important to get to it again on your opponent's turn, and sometimes you just can't with like the Murakumo wipe. You kind of want this as your first synchro to make. So against those decks, I was trying to prioritize getting this back into rotation, whether it be like activating 2 field spell or like trying to discard a field spell from my hand, or if they nib me when like this was negated off Marcher, I would just put it back. Other Link ones, Kagari, Link Spider, Almirage. One regret I have this weekend was not playing Link Kuriboh, and not necessarily because the reasons people think were like you want to end on it. It's more so just for like Blackgoat laughs. I got Blackgoated I think 2 times, and I think both times if I had Link Kuriboh, I would have either won the game or been in like a great position. And there's actually a couple of end boards that I have where Link Kuriboh actually is somewhat important to protect my Herald because of a different card we're making on our end board. Speaking of Herald, Marcher, and then this card I think is mandatory now, Starham. The main reason this card is good is because it's a 3rd way to get to Minion. If they stop your Snatchy, if they stop your Marshmallow, or sorry, if they stop your Snatchy, they stop your Cupsy, you can go Starham, revive the Marshmallow, and get the Minion back in rotation. It's also good to just like play under Perulia and stuff, clear bodies, under School against Dracotail comes up as well. I would definitely play this again. SP, Standard, Typhon. This should have been either Link Kuriboh or Anima, probably Link Kuriboh. I summoned this card 3 or 4 times. 3 of the times I summoned it, I was just like instantly losing. 1 time I summoned it, and I won just because like my opponent didn't play optimally, so I don't think I would play this again. And the spice of the weekend, this card was busted. Silhouette Rabbit. Pretty much all our 1-card combos get to full Yummy combo plus this. And in our side deck, you'll see the cards that I'm setting off of it are Pophis the Serpent and Apophis the Swamp Deity. So essentially, you summon this on your end board. You set this one, and when this is flipped face up, it summons, and it sets another from your deck, and it can be activated that turn. So you set this, and this is essentially like a hot red. It's basically a non-target Omni negate, so it can negate Dark Ruler, Metal Tronus, pretty much whatever you need. It can negate Mud Dragon if you need to, Murakumo, as well as just like giving you Spell Trap pop access. In the mirror, it can come up to where you need to pop minion or pop a Croaky. In Draco Tail, sometimes what happens is they play on your turn 0, and they set cards in their back row, and you can summon this, flip this, in their draw phase, flip it up, pop a back row, and then you can negate their other one with this. Other cool stuff you can do with these is in simplified game states, if it comes back to your turn, you can link them off for Link Spider, continue your plays, and it's only 1 brick. A lot of people were like against this because they thought it was 2 bricks, but this card is totally fine to draw going first, because you can just set it and get this. You don't have to make the rabbit, you can just make SP or leave your Yummy stuff up. So I think this added a layer to the Yummy deck, the pure Yummy deck, that it really needed. And I would definitely play this again in the future. Other side deck cards, Triple Droll, pretty obvious. Triple D-Barrier, this is the god card of the format. One reason why we wanted Thrust in our deck somewhere as well. Just hits like everything. The actual god card, Solemn Judgment. We were at 14 cards. We just needed like a go first card that was pretty generic, and we went with Judgment. It was really good. Then for the rest of the stuff, Black Goat to set off Thrust. Feather Duster, Thrust Target, also just a great card. 1 Lightning Storm, also a Thrust Target, but also just a good card. Along with Dark Ruler. We went with Dark Ruler in this slot just because we thought it had a little bit more flexibility. We wanted something that we could search off a Thrust in the Yummy Mirror match that dealt with the monsters. And we thought this was just a little bit better against some of the combo decks in Dark Hole. I think in the future I would still play Dark Ruler and I'd still play Duster, but I'd maybe consider playing Dark Hole over the Lightning Storm. Or just maybe adding Dark Hole to this to this package. And then the last card on my side, which was a little bit weird, Contact C. Several reasons for playing this card. So number 1, we needed a card that we could side in specifically against the pure Yummy deck, and we were really like exhausting resources trying to find something. Hand traps were not that good, breakers were not that good, especially if people are doing like stuff like we're doing with the Apophis or like Ibly locking. There's only so many cards that are good against those types of combos. We just found it really difficult to go second into the pure Yummy matchup. And I know a lot of people right now are actually playing, outs to this card like Lambda. However, we found that if you paired this card with like pretty much any of our hand traps, Purge, Bell, Ash, Imperm, you could let them out this card and then like hit their cup C, and it becomes like very difficult for them to extend, or it becomes very difficult for them to actually play through this. And at worst, this card often you just traded with like a hand trap in their hand. You would hit them with this, and sometimes they would be forced to like normal summon an Ash out of their hand, make Lambda, which is fine. Like your card was trading 1-for-1 with the hand trap. It could be worse. It's also just another card that kind of fit our theme of like you can draw it as your 6th card and it has like playability. It also has some unique use cases against like Draco Tail. You can like wait for the Rahu or wait for the Malulu and try to hit them with it. And obviously they're still going to set up their traps and stuff, but if you can stick this to the board, as long as they can't out it with their own pan, it's going to cut them off of 5 mana. In the future, I don't know if I'd play it again. We were really just like stressing looking for a card for the mirror, and this is what we came to the conclusion on. There's also just a chance if your opponent's not playing that out, it is just the auto win in the mirror, so something to think about in the future. But I think for the most part, like this and the Link Kribo and the Dark Hole is like maybe the only thing I'd change, maybe the 3rd Imperm, but yeah, it worked out well. I went 7-2 day 1, and I went 4-1 on day 2, and I ended up in top 32. But with that is my profile. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and shout out the Gaming Metro and Johnny Perkins. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys.